Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your health is our legacy. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights.
Since 1911, the Pierre Parts Store has been your one-stop shop. Family owned and operated for 4 generations, the Pierre Parts Store has served the community by providing groceries, hardware, home products, and much more, including a full-service lumber yard. Now, we've added the Thibodaux store to the family with the same values and service we've delivered for over 100 years. The Pierre Parts Store and the Thibodaux store, our family serving your family.
Bayou Times Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Hey everybody, welcome into Bayou Times Sports. Harry McCullough here. Hey, it's almost Memorial Day, which means it's time for thousands of kids to come to Thibodaux over the summer for some of the best camps in the country. The number one camp, I think, I mean, they got those Mannings, but the number one camp I love is the lineman camp. And Coach Rod is here, Don Rodriguez here to talk about the Louisiana lineman camp. We'll also talk a little bit about the pro football camp that's going to happen. But boy, there's a lot of kids that'll be coming in. I can't believe it's June already, but June 15th, the linemen are coming in, and this is the only football camp that doesn't need a ball, right, Coach?
That's right. Linemen, we don't need a ball. We see something move on defense, and you attacking something and chasing.
You're waiting for them. I know Jim Harbaugh gave you guys a lot of credit. He was talking about offensive linemen is the only group that doesn't rely on anybody else. The linemen, if you're a quarterback, you got to rely on the line. If you're a receiver, you got to rely on the quarterback. The linemen are the group that has to do it by themselves. And this is a great way, and it's offense and defensive lines. But this camp is so good because it's a working camp, and you guys have been doing it since 1987. So you're expecting record numbers this year?
Well, last year we had 675. I think we're going to hit 700.
Wow.
Actually, right now, we've really closed the online registration. And then if you go to LouisianaLineCamp.com and you go, and it's going to put you on a waiting list. If somebody drops off from another school or another thing, then we can slide you up. So that's the procedure.
And you don't want to take 2,000 kids because of what you're seeing here, Coach. You get big time coaching from 50 high-level coaches, 10 of which were NFL players or coaches, right?
Well, most of them are NFL defensive linemen right now.
Yeah.
Henry Thomas, who played for Pete way back when at LSU, he comes. Carl Dunbar has come in the past. He hadn't come in the last couple of years for the Steelers, but the rest of them we've got Austin Clark,
Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I mean Kevin Mawai, 2019 Hall of Famer, and look, the NFL coaches coach on a different level. I mean, that's their occupation, but what really is the heartbeat of our camp is our high school coaches.
Right. And
many of them from local, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette area. And many of them been coming for 20 years, and they look forward to it to talk ball.
Yeah. All right. And it'll be 3 nights. Again, it's from June 15th through June 18th. And we were talking, my son went to the camp for 4 years. Your son went to the camp. This is a different, particularly my kid was an offensive lineman. They come in groups, and it's not like a guy, I'm just a quarterback or I'm just a receiver. The whole group works together, and they work together the whole time in drills. Right.
Well, we like to put them in groups of around 15. If you get over 15, 6, 17, 8, then there's too much standing around and you don't get enough reps, and you're losing the quality. So we work hard on keeping the number in the groups. And what if you have your starting 5 and then you have your backups, and they're all in the same group, and it's not only learning how to position your hands, your feet, how to strike and everything. There's a bonding effect with offensive linemen that the rest of the world doesn't understand.
Right, exactly.
When those guys, when they get in the huddle, you see them holding hands. Of course, there's not many huddles today.
Right,
but those guys, they're all together.
Yeah.
I mean, they work, and the bonding effect for a whole team. And because I watch the teams that come with 10, 12, 15, and the older guys bring up the younger guys and nurture them. And when they get to the back of the line with them and teach them, and because they know that's what's coming up behind them. So.
Yeah, and they have to move almost like one. And you say some schools will bring 30 guys, right?
Well, Calico Baton Rouge one year had 62. They have 50 every year. This year, I think Holy Cross out of New Orleans will have 30. St. Paul's is going to have 20. E.D. White, I don't think they're going to make the 20ish, but they're going to be in the high teens. Thibodeau High is going to have 18 or 19. Vanderbilt's going to have 14, 15.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Lauraville High School is going to have 8 or 10 every year.
And you're right. And it is a bonding because of what you got to go through, right? So we know what the weather's already starting to be, but on June 15th, it's going to be kind of warm. Tell what's an average day for you guys at the camp?
Well, the Saturday morning is registration. We start at 9-ish. We finish at 1:30. We go into a 2:00 meeting in Peltier Hall, and it's a pretty sight when you see 650 or 700 high school linemen and the 50 coaches all in the same room. And we invite the parents that stick around. They're invited to come in if they can find a seat in it. If you ever been to Peltier, and we put them in the back of the room, and they get to hear everything.
Yeah.
Every camp has some do's and don'ts, and so we break them up in groups. They eat around 4-ish. We're on the field for 6. We're off at 8. We're shower, and they go into a meeting from 9 to 10, and it's the video portion of the camp. Pete Jenkins has video. Kevin Mawai has video. Lee Roussel and Mark Son, all of them have cut-ups and videos that they're going to show you the drill, all right? And it might be a guy from LSU, then 15 years ago. It might be a guy from Philadelphia Eagles. It might be a guy from Auburn doing the drill. They got to find it on the game film. And they're going to have arrows pointing to it, and there's going to be a side shot.
This is what we're doing.
This is the drill that you just did, and they're going to show an end zone shot. And they get to see it mentally. Then the next day we go
do physical 3 times a day.
Yes.
So it is a workman camp. So, hey, can we hold you on for another segment? You got another segment?
Let's go.
We'll talk about it. So let's take a break. We'll be right back. More Bayou Time right after this.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.
Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Hey, welcome back to Bayou Time Sports. Harry McCullough here. We're spending some time with Don Rodriguez. We're talking about the lineman camp that's going to come to Nicholls State on June 15th through the 18th. But we also talk about the pro football camp in a little bit. We were just finishing up about what the day is. But I don't even think y'all have curfews because everybody's too dang tired to go try and run the streets, right?
Yeah. And then that Sunday morning, we get them up at 7. They go to the they eat in the college cafeteria. They sleep in the college dorm, and we have proctors in the dorm. We hire some Nicholls football players to patrol the halls at night and everything. And then they eat. We're on the field at 9, off at 11. They shower, they eat. They're back on the field at 1:45, off at 3:30. They shower, they eat, back on the field at 6. Off at 8, shower, don't have time to eat. You're going into a meeting for another hour and 15 minutes for those those cut-ups
They're so valuable.
They're unbelievable. What a kid is going to see it, then the next day go do it,
Right.
and then it's repeated. So, and then we do that three times a day. On the Sunday practice is 3 times, the Monday practice is 3 times, and the Tuesday morning back on the field at 9, off at 11. Then they turn in that key. We give them a T-shirt. I survived the line camp.
No, it's awesome. And like I say, it does build a lot of camaraderie among these groups. And particularly, like I said, the offensive linemen had to work together so much, but defensive linemen as well. And then the coaches and just having coaches there through osmosis to hear other coaches talking, they'll bring it back, and it works like that. So you guys have been doing it for a
And the
long
Nichols players come in when they're not in summer school or not on a job. They'll come in. There'll be 8 or 10 of them they'll jump in a group, and they're doing it. And I mean, and the young guys see this bigger guys, mature guys,
So yeah, no, without a doubt. And I remember Joe Theismann talking about, he was thought he was the leader of the Hogs, right? The Redskins. Yeah. And they would always say, until the big guys buy in the room, the big guys in the room, until they buy in, it doesn't matter what the little quarterback's saying. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, right after that, the pretty boys will come in, the Mannings will come in, and the little quarterbacks, which always has the top pick in the NFL draft, comes through there.
Sure.
The receivers, running backs, and then you have the pro football camp as well. So between those 3 camps, that's a lot of people coming through Thibodeau, huh?
2,500 high school athletes on the Nichols State University and the city of Thibodeau.
Right.
And we have in more and more campers, like basically from Texas and Arkansas. Now we're getting a few. They'll make their vacation, and they get them a lawn chair, they get them a small ice chest with that tea and water, get them a straw hat, and they sit in that shade under the oak trees. People have always asked me since they built the Manning Fields and all that stuff, and it says, y'all gonna move to the Manning Fields? I said, yes, we will, as soon as they can take all them oak trees and move them to the Manning Fields, because they're so valuable in the heat of the day that when we give them a break, that they can get 5 minutes of shade, and so on. So and some of the coaches, they'll drift off. They can do a drill in the shade, and that's because when I was coaching it, I did it.
Firsthand.
Yes.
No, it really is good, and man, I can't think of the number of players that have come through here. Like I say, just from players, from coaches, and through all 3 camps. And like I say, I mean, all you got to do is every year you look at the top of the draft, and some quarterback is either coached or camped at the Mannings. Same with the linemen. Almost all of these guys have come through. Yep. So it's an important time. I would imagine Thibodeau economically values these summer camps.
Mike Detillier talk about it, that it's something like 3.2 million, 3.4 million, that the economic value for the Thibodeau community.
Yeah, that's just a change falling out of the Manning's pockets when they over.
But they're still here, and they've been offered to go to Disney World and here and everything else. And I think, and nobody's ever told them, but I just think that in their mind, they're in a small town, small problems, they can control the campers, and they keep coming back.
Yeah, no, it's like I say, just for our area, just to be able to go see those athletes, it's an amazing thing. So the defensive line as well, and I like I say, in my mind, I guess my kid was an offensive lineman, but the defensive lineman, when you can learn from a Carl Dunbar and those types of players, that's more individualistic, but boy, that's a good way to learn too. Huh?
Well, I mean, it's Brendan Daly. Henry Thomas, he's still a great teacher.
Yeah, Pete Jenkins knows a little bit.
If you would watch those guys, Kevin Mawai, the Hall of Famer in 2019 NFL, I saw him take a young man, probably was a freshman, and they were doing blocking, pass blocking, and he took him off to the side for about a minute and a half, and I wish I'd have videoed it, because it was phenomenal what he was telling him, how he was to do it and everything. And that young man probably didn't know who was teaching him,
Right.
but the advice he was getting, that was so good for him.
You got a Hall of Fame. I'm surprised that his name hadn't come up for more head coaching jobs too. When you hear the guy talk football and technique, and line play has become hand placement and just balance and that kind of stuff. It's really awesome to watch somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yep.
Well, Coach Rod, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for bringing all those kids and all those campers into Thibodaux, man.
Yep. This is going to be like my 35th year. I haven't missed a day or a drill.
We know you're not going to miss it. All right, appreciate it. We'll be right back with more Bayou Time Sports after this.
Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.